So in the last few tutorials we've been exploring different aspects of Photoshop and just the beginning portions of this. This session I want to share with you a little tidbit of information. This is just about changing how an image actually looks. Now you might see from this image, it looks a little dark down. There's a couple different ways you can go about changing it. The first and most common is the levels adjustment layer. Now with the levels you can move the dark slider to change the blacks, you can move the white slider to change the whites. You can also move the gray slider to adjust midpoint values, and you can see all of those being applied to the image as it's happening. So nothing too fancy there. So that's one method of doing it, and if you do enjoy using the levels, that's fine. One trick is to hold the Alt or Option key down, this is on a Mac, and select one of the sliders, and you'll see that the image goes white. And as you pull it across, you know that it's affecting the blacks of the image, but with the Alt and Option key, you can actually see how dark it is. Now when you see information coming up here, that means that's the blackest part of the image. So let's go ahead and make that change. And you can also do that with the white slider. So now I'm going to do the same thing here. And that's, it's showing the sky would be the lightest part of the image. By moving the slider, I can see that it's, moving the sky a little bit. And now when you look at the preview on and off, you can see that it's darkening the image a little bit. You can lighten it, whatever you want to do. So that's one method. But then there's also the curves method. You go down to the little half moon, you hit curves. Now in curves you can do something called an S-curve, which will change the values in a picture and make it more contrasty. So let's just select two values, one light and one dark. We're going to move this left value, I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see it real good. We're going to move this left value to the left, and now we're going to select this bottom value and move it to the right. And what you see here is called the S-curve, or a Gini curve. Anyways, now what you can see in the image is that I'll turn on before and after. It's very contrasty with this. But we're going to go and evaluate an image. Now with CS3 you can actually see the histogram of an image here. If you adjust your image a lot, you'll see breaks in your histogram. You never want to see that, especially as a photographer. And the reason for this is the histogram is a graphic display of the pixel data inside of your photograph. So if you see a break, like a white line that runs vertically all the way up and down, that means you have no information in that spot, which means it's not going to print good and it's probably not going to look too good. But anyways, back to the image. So each image is special and unique. You need to evaluate it based on the image. For an image like this, I would look at the sky, the midground, foreground, and just evaluate how it looks. Right now it looks like it's a little bit dark, so I'm going to go ahead and select a point in the sky by hitting the Command with Mac, it's probably Control with Windows, and selecting some of the sky. Now you'll see when I mouse over the image it's an eyedropper. That's what happens when you're over an image. In any case, so I've hit that, and I'm just going to move the point up a little bit, and I'm going to turn the preview on so I can actually see it. The sky looks about right now. The midtones look okay, but the shadows look a little bit under the weather. So right now we're going to go ahead and select the shadows and bring them down a little bit, but you see when we did that, the midtones went down a little bit, so now we're going to select the midtones, bring the midtones up. Now with an S-curve and a Gini curve, this is basically what we've made as an S-curve, but we've adjusted it based on different parts of the image, and we've really localized it to where it needed to be. Now if you look at the before and after, you can actually see a noticeable contrast difference in the image, and I really prefer this to levels. The only thing is make sure that your histogram doesn't have line breaks. You might have to update it by clicking this little orange thing here, and if you do that, it'll probably not have line breaks, and if it does have line breaks, then you need to make a less severe change to your image.